Hi, good morning, friends. Today is a good day. Saturday, April 4th, and looks like another beautiful day is coming our way, perhaps the next couple days. So grateful for that, and a chance to be outdoors, and just a chance to be together and be grateful for another day. And grateful for this morning to share some thoughts on abundance as we start to explore further this space between stimulus and response, self-awareness, creative imagination, independent will, skillful action, and our ability to cultivate our conscience during this time of social distancing. And so that's what I'd like to continue to explore is creative imagination. We've been, for those of you that are maybe just coming in or tuning in today, the first few segments, it's been over 2 weeks now, have been, we're around self-awareness, specifically adding in somatic awareness, and the last segments now for about 5 or 6 morning meditation sessions. I've been just sharing reflections on this book as a structure for cultivating our creative imagination, so that we aren't just left with this notion of creative imagination and then we don't know what to do or how to actually, what are the practices that help us all with our creative recovery and cultivating a creative and imaginative life. And so today we're exploring this topic of recovering a sense of abundance from this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Certainly there are more resources on creativity and imagination, so feel free to be inspired and take these morning reflections and follow your interest, follow your enthusiasm, follow your excitement. So I see Joanne just logged on. So good morning, Joanne. Great to see you. See your name, see your avatar there. And so this topic of recovering a sense of abundance seems really fitting right now. Just given the state of where we all are, there's this experience that I'm hearing, that I'm experiencing, that I'm feeling, where many experiences or many things we were receiving have been temporarily have started to condense or get smaller. In other words, our social interactions have reduced. There is for many, not all, but for many, there's an economic reduction, and there's concern around the future of the economy, and then there's health. Then there's some people are concerned about experiencing health, or that being diminished or could be diminished. So I think it's really fitting to be in a conversation around abundance in a time where there's so much there's so much of a contraction of so many aspects of our abundance externally have started to reduce, at least temporarily, and there's some unknown about how will things be once we're past this health crisis. So my hope is that these reflections on abundance are validating, they are uplifting and inspiring, so we can find abundance here now in the present moment, not just waiting for abundance someday when everything is back to something similar to it was before this whole COVID crisis began. So that's certainly what I'm experiencing as I start to revisit and reflect on the topics of abundance in the artist way. I feel like my cup is already getting full as I revisit it, and I hope that's the case for you. So I see Kathy's on. Good morning, Kathy. And Henrietta's on. Good morning. Darlene, good morning. Today is a good day. All right, I see David's on. Good morning, David. It's great to see you. And so, there are many topics in the Artist's Way on recovering a sense of abundance, and I just like to share a few that always have stood out to me and even stand out to me even more, and that's specifically around whether we're a declared artist or we're just cultivating our own creativity, that often when we get to the creative part of ourselves, that the two Achilles heels of a creative person or even a declared artist are two things she shares, and they prove to be roadworthy, and they are artistic anorexia. It's an interesting term, artistic anorexia, and prideful perfection. And we'll talk about prideful perfection in a different morning time. But artistic anorexia is what she calls it. I think is a powerful frame in that it talks about often with our creative selves, or if you're out there and you're a declared artist, that often artists will deprive themselves while they're creating until one day when they arrive and they're discovered, or their art actually gets recognition and public recognition, financial recognition, then they intend to reward themselves. And that's what she calls is artistic anorexia. This notion, this frame of mind of the starving artist is what comes to mind when I hear her reflections on that. And I think that's in our culture, the starving artist, that we're suffering for our creativity. And she takes that and really flips that around and says that an artist needs to experience abundance throughout the entire process in order to stay creative. And regardless of what your art is, whatever your creativity is, your medium of art might be entrepreneurship and business. Your medium might be painting. It might be architecture. It might be quilting. It might be sculpting. It might be dance. So this importance of us experiencing some sense of abundance on a daily, at least a weekly basis, so that we can fill the well of our creativity. Remember to feel that sense of abundance. And I love how she talks about one creative person or one artist, and she talks about how in order to experience abundance, this one artist, what they would do every week is they would go to the store and buy the most expensive, luxurious pint of raspberries that money could buy. And then, something they were so organic and expensive, and that it's something they would never normally buy for themselves. And so this notion that they would intentionally go buy this expensive pint of raspberries, which they loved, and then every morning, I think it was, have them on their yogurt. And so for $5 or $5.50, this person could experience abundance every morning at breakfast, a sense of luxury and abundance for $6. Just think about that for a minute. Just think about it. It didn't cost a lot of money, but for that person, that was luxury, and they got to experience luxury, every morning because of, an investment. They knew that for them, that was luxury. So think about that, what that is for us, each one of us. How during this time of where there's economic contraction, how can we invest in one thing that can give us a sense of luxury and abundance every day? And we might find it isn't necessarily expensive. And if we can keep cultivating this experience of abundance, it has a way of bringing, shifting our mood, shifting our sense of possibility, and it has a way of bringing abundance, at least in my experience, bringing abundance towards us, because people are attracted to that. And when we're in that positive state of mind, we tend to have better ideas, we tend to have more creative ideas, more creative problem solving. And so just a thought, what is one thing that each one of us can do that would give us a sense of abundance on a weekly basis, similar to the investment of this one artist who bought the expensive pint of strawberries and enjoyed that abundance every morning for breakfast. So that's my reflection on abundance and ways that we can experience luxury on a daily basis without it necessarily being expensive. And I think it's important. I think it's powerful. And then there's an exercise that I'd just like to share in the book. You can certainly go ahead and engage in this exercise later. But I thought this was a great exercise, creative exercise, especially given our current times and economic uncertainty. And again, these are question prompts that are intended to be done first thought, best thought. So whatever comes to mind, you write it down. So these are 20 questions, and this is one of the exercises on abundance with regard to money for the creative person. So basically, you just fill in the blank here. People with money are. Money makes people. I'd have enough money if. My dad thought money was. My mom always thought money would. In my family, money caused. Money equals. If I had money, I'd. If I could afford it, I'd. If I had some money, I'd. I'm afraid that if I had money, I would. Money is. Money causes. Having money is not. In order to have more money, I'd need to. When I have money, I think money. If I weren't so cheap, I'd. People think money. Being broke tells me. So some interesting questions. Each one of those prompts is intended to spur first thought, best thought. Write it down. And much like the morning pages, that writing meditation, it can start to reveal to us our unconscious beliefs. And then we can take a look, as we look at our unconscious beliefs, we can say, do we want to practice those anymore? Are they useful? Maybe some of them still are. Maybe some of them are 10 years old and no longer relevant. And bringing awareness to them gives us the ability to choose and to potentially choose a new belief that aligns and fits with our current circumstances and our current abilities. So just some thoughts here on abundance, luxury, especially on money, as we're in this time. So I just wanted to say good morning to Jamie and Sarah and Elizabeth. So good morning, welcome. Happy Saturday. Today is a good day. So let's begin with our meditation. Let's begin to do some centering here. Let's start by relaxing our eyes and relaxing our jaw, softening our chin, beginning to open, relaxing our neck and our area of our voice. Let's bring our shoulders up and drop them down. Bring your shoulders up and drop them down. Opening up your chest, relaxing your diaphragm, softening the belly, relaxing our hips and thighs, knees, calves, and feet, and just systematically relaxing ourselves from head to toe, noticing our mood right now, meeting that awareness without judgment, without attachment, and without resistance. And let's start to center. Let's center either standing or sitting, centering and building our self-awareness in our length. So feeling and centering into our length. Coming into our vertical line, feeling ourselves as a bridge between heaven and earth. Building that narrative connected with that felt sense of our body. Building a bridge between our spirituality and meaning and our physicality and action. Let's center in our width from left to right, that social emotional plane. So this posture is symbolic of bringing attention to ourselves and our personal boundaries and commitments, attending to our own needs. And then start to extend your arms out in width, left and right, and extending out to someone in your home. And you're starting to extend out to maybe something that is living in the out of doors. There's some trees out here, so I'm extending out, including that in my field of awareness. And maybe extending out to somebody that isn't here, that is your friend or your confidant. So just extending out to them. We're still feeling ourselves and extending out to others. Creating that balance. Even shifting left to right as we feel into our width. Extending out perhaps to people who we're going to be connecting with today. I'm going to be connecting with a larger group today of 20, so I'm extending to them as I just look at the list of all the people's names, just extending to them. Bring our arms in and let's center in our depth, our somatic depth. So just moving forward and moving back. As we lean forward, imagining that space in front of us as our future, where we're headed. Our intention for the day, the week, the month, the next 12 weeks, that trajectory. As we lean back into our back, feeling into our history. So we can feel into all those experiences that have come before this moment. Feel our teachers at our back. We can feel the wisdom of our experience at our back. We can feel our lineage, our parents and grandparents. We can feel our competencies, things we can lean into that anchor us. And then find an effortless balance between the space in front of you, the space behind you. In other words, an actual physical, mechanical balance here. And then with your imagination, tie in that effortlessness in sitting here or standing here is the felt sense of the present moment. We have a past, we can feel it at our back, we can draw upon it, but we're not living there. We have a future, we have an intention, we have a vision, we have a direction, and we're not living there. In other words, we're not hoping one day we'll be happy when this happens. We're cultivating all our presence, all our power into this moment, the present moment, the only moment that ever really is. The quality of our presence in this moment will determine the trajectory of our future. If we're present in this moment, we can more positively shape our future. So just feeling into that, feeling yourself centered in your somatic length, in your somatic width, and your somatic depth. And then bring attention and energy to your right hand. In other words, feel the temperature of your hand. My hand feels warm. Without looking at my hand, I'm feeling the shape of my hand. Just placing that below my navel. And if you feel my hand on my belly, and what that can do is help us move out of the thinking self and dropping down into the intuitive feeling self, into the felt sense. Dropping and bringing awareness to what is typically unconscious. Let's take 3 deep breaths there. So deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. And one more deep breath in and exhale. Notice your mood right now, and notice if that's shifted since the beginning of our time together. For me, I've already shifted from a sense of excitement and optimism. I still feel that, and now I feel even more grounded, more present. And let's begin to enter the meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes and start to enter that inner space. As you enter that inner space and begin to prepare your heart and mind for the meditation, set your intention. Remind yourself, for the sake of what, that you're doing the meditation practice. And again, we'll enter in with the words of the poet David White. And the poet says, "Enough. These words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to the life, this creative life, we have refused again and again. Until now. Until now." enough. These words are enough. If not these words, then this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to the life we have refused again and again. Until now. Until now. As we close, remind yourself again, for the sake of what, that you did the practice. And then very gently and very slowly begin to move your arms and legs. And very gently and very slowly begin to open your eyes and let the outside world come back in again. Take a moment to recognize your mood right now, and if your mood has shifted. And if your mood has shifted and you're experiencing something that is a mood that is satisfying or helpful, just recognize that you created that through these self-awareness practices. And that this is available to you anytime, anywhere. So I want to thank you all for logging on today and to create this community and share this time. This time, early morning, is a beautiful time because it's considered kind of the formless time of the day. In other words, what we do in this formless time of the day can set the trajectory for how the day is going to go. We bring more intention, we bring a positive mood. As life may disrupt, we can come back to this mental, emotional space we created for ourselves and recenter on that. So it's really a wonderful time of the day, and a wonderful time of the day to share both the time of day and the practice. So tomorrow, 7 a.m., I'm going to continue on with this reflections and meditation at 7 a.m. Tomorrow we'll be exploring the artist or creative recovery practice of recovering a sense of connection as we cultivate our inner creativity, our creative imagination as a part of our inner freedom. And I'll just leave you with the words that really inspired this whole morning series, which are the words of Viktor Frankl, that between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space lies our ability to choose our response. And it is in those choices that lie our growth and our freedom. So wishing you all growth and freedom today. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.